They called it a monstrosity, a disgrace, a stain on the skyline of Paris. And yet today, the Eiffel Tower is one of the most visited and beloved landmarks on Earth. But here's what most people don't know. The tower was almost torn down, not once, but multiple times. And the story behind its survival, it's packed with sabotage, backroom deals, and one man's secret plan to outsmart everyone, a city in crisis. In the late 1800s, Paris was in a state of recovery. After the Franco-Prussian War and years of political turmoil, the French capital needed a win, something bold, something to show the world that Paris was still the beating heart of progress, art, and innovation. So, the government planned the Exposition Universelle, the 1889 World's Fair, to celebrate the centennial of the French Revolution. A design competition was held to create a monumental centerpiece. Among the entries, an iron tower designed by a bridge engineer named Gustave Eiffel. No arches, no domes, just a spindly skeletal structure of riveted iron shooting 1,000 feet into the sky. It was unthinkable. But they hated. The backlash came fast. Writers, artists, and architects were outraged. A group of the most influential cultural figures in France published an open letter denouncing the tower. We, the writers, painters, sculptors, architects of Paris, protest with all our strength against the erection of this useless and monstrous Eiffel Tower. They called it an iron skeleton, a metal asparagus, a tragic lamppost. And yet, construction moved forward. Eiffel stood firm, defending his tower not just as an engineering marvel, but as a monument to modern science. But what he didn't tell anyone was that he had a much bigger plan, the hidden purpose. From the very beginning, Eiffel knew the odds were stacked against him. The permit for the tower stated it would stand for just 20 years, so Eiffel got creative. He outfitted the tower with meteorological equipment. He invited scientists to use it for experiments, and as wireless telegraphy, what we now call radio, began to emerge, Eiffel pushed hard to turn the tower into a communications hub. In short, he was building something too useful to destroy. The tower will have its own life, he said, even after I'm gone. He poured his own money into it, millions of francs, making him not just the designer, but the owner. The race to finish construction began in 1887 and was a race against time. The deadline, the opening of the World's Fair in 1889. Eiffel's team assembled over 18,000 pieces of wrought iron, lifted by steam-powered cranes, and secured by over 2.5 million rivets. Despite high winds and freezing conditions at unprecedented heights, there were remarkably few injuries. Eiffel added his own dramatic flourish on Inauguration Day. He climbed the tower himself hundreds of feet in the air and raised the French flag to the cheers of a stunned crowd. And yet, the victory was short-lived. The fight to save it. As the 20-year mark approached, the critics returned. The city council debated its removal. Some argued that the tower, initially meant to be temporary, had served its purpose. The land it stood on could be sold, but Eiffel had one more card to play. In 1903, a French army captain used the tower to intercept enemy radio signals. During World War I, it helped jam German communications and relay strategic messages to the front lines. The Eiffel Tower had become almost overnight a strategic military asset. That saved it. A legacy rewritten. Public opinion slowly shifted. The same artists who once mocked it began painting it, photographing it, and writing about it. By the 1920s, it had become a symbol not of destruction, but of resilience. Eiffel himself continued to conduct experiments in aerodynamics from the tower's upper levels well into his old age. He died in 1923, having lived long enough to see his tower become part of the city's soul. The iron structure that was once condemned as a national embarrassment now stood as the iron heart of Paris. A twist of fate. Here's the truth. The Eiffel Tower should not be here. It defied public opinion. It outlasted its permit. It survived 2 world wars, and it did so because one man understood that utility and vision could outlast criticism. Gustave Eiffel didn't just design a tower, he engineered a legacy. And that legacy is why millions stand in line each year, not to mock it, but to marvel at what was once almost lost. The Eiffel Tower is more than a landmark. It's a monument to perseverance, to daring, and to the power of seeing what others don't yet. Want more untold stories of architectural icons? Subscribe to Masterworks of Architecture.